bowlers from around the region. Candlepin Stars and Strikes. And now your hosts, Dick Lutz and Mike Morris.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome into another edition of Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS-TV from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. It's our third ladder series of the season. We're looking for our third entry into the Tournament of Champions at the end of the year.
And a couple of what we'd call gunslingers are sitting in the positions 1 and 2 so far. Jeff Surratt and Dave Hodge, two very hot, young, up-and-coming bowlers.
Let's meet our first two participants in this new ladder series. Our number 5 seed from Beverly, Massachusetts. Say hi to Mark Gregory.
Mark Gregory, one of the winningest pros in the WCBC, coming in with an average of 134. High single is 192, one of the few bowlers who has a high triple over 500 at 505. Mark does his bowling at Metro Bowl in Peabody and Park Place in Windham.
He rolled a 637 in the roll-off. 3 bowlers rolled a 637 in the roll-off. They had to break a tie with a high string. He's taking on our number 4 seed, Paul Bourassa from Merrimack, New Hampshire.
Been a long time since he's been on WNDS, but he's here after many years. Paul's average is 121, his high single 186, coming in with a high triple of 446. Bowls right here at Leda Lanes and in the Friday Night Pro Traveling League.
You get to see some of the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world every week right here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Let's come back to this afternoon's match right after this on WNDS-TV's Candlepin Stars and Strikes. We begin each ladder series with 5 of the finest Candlepin bowlers in the world, and there you see the 5 who will be competing this week. Our number 1 seed, Craig Holbrook, Bill Treefel, Gary Carrington in this afternoon's match with Paul Bourassa and Mark Gregory ready to go. And we begin this afternoon with Mark Gregory, first to bowl here at Leda Lanes in Nashua, our first match of our third ladder series of the season. Another great crowd on hand here at Leda Lanes to watch Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS-TV.
Mark pointed out to me that between the 5 bowlers in this current 4-week ladder series, there are a total of, let me see, 19, 12, 26 titles between 4 bowlers. Paul Bourassa, the only bowler in our grouping that doesn't have a WCBC title. And the interesting stat is all 3 bowlers who have won in the WCBC in the Shunk season are on today's show. We have the September, October, and November winners who will be joining us in the next 4 weeks.
And you noted in the seeds that we showed you at the top of the show, wow, there's a nice 10 box for Mark starting out, that Craig Holbrook had a 669 in the roll-off to earn the number 1 seed. Bill Treefel had a 645. Then Gary Carrington, Paul Bourassa, and Mark Gregory each had 637 totals near 5-string roll-offs, and the tiebreaker was determined by the high string amongst each of them, and Gary Carrington had the high string to earn the number 3 seed. Paul Bourassa was next. He's number 4, and Mark Gregory is the number 5 seed in this ladder series. Good-looking shot. Good-looking shot. Spare for Mark Gregory.
This will be the first time that Paul Bourassa has been under the lights for quite a few years. He does have 5 WNDS appearances, but that's well before Dick and I came to the show in 1997.
I mean, there was life before us.
Hard as it is to believe, yes.
It's a good-looking shot, but he couldn't pick up the spare. Paul Bourassa from Merrimack, New Hampshire, a 121 average, a high single 186, a high 3 of 446.
Ball right back.
Bowling out of Leda Lanes right here in the Friday Night Pro Traveling League as well. He's been bowling for 30 of his 40 years. Paul's a printed circuit board designer employed by Mass Design of Nashua. The single guy has 15 nieces and nephews, so he does some holiday shopping. Likes to motorcycle, snowmobile, golf, and read. Enjoys science fiction and fantasy genres. And he has to settle for a 6 box right there. Check at a 7 box. Mark Gregory works on a spare. Mark from Beverly, Massachusetts, the North Shore of Massachusetts. Will that 5-pin go? It wobbles. Mark's been bowling for 39 of his 46 years in that North Shore hotbed of Candlepin. Bowling bowling out of Metro Bowl in Peabody and Park Place in Wyndham. Second mark in a row for Mark Gregory, looking for bonus money. We give $50 for 3 marks in a row. Triple strike jackpot starts off the day at $700 for 3 strikes in a row. Mark missed the head pin, puts the 4 horsemen on the right side staring back at him. And this is a $50 shot. Mark's a mailroom coordinator for the Automobile Insurers Bureau of Massachusetts. Good looking shot. Oh, the ball just went around the 10 pin. He put it right in the 1-3 pocket. The ball took a little bit of a circuitous route around the 10 pin instead of into the 10 pin. And that'll go into the gutter in a 9 box. So the money goes back into the vault.
So even though Paul Bourassa does not have a WCBC title, to his credit, he apparently had a very good 2002 year because he was voted the Rookie of the Year. Not voted, it's actually whoever has the most pins of all first-year bowlers after 6 tournaments, taking your best 5. And there's his first spare, but he was the Rookie of the Year of the WCBC a couple of seasons ago, so he's pretty new to the competitive bowling, at least at this level.
Put 5 in the spare, but the piece of wood there sets up an opportunity for another spare for Paul, but watch out for that 10 pin. It's lonely. And he gets them all. 2 marks in a row for Paul Bourassa.
And that'll chase the butterflies away, if indeed there were any, and I can imagine there may have been a few. 5 television appearances in his life compared to this gentleman, Mark Gregory, who's now appearing in his 30th television broadcast.
Right on the head pin and right through spread eagle plus the 8 pin, which is right behind the 2 pin. The 2, 4, 7, 8 on the left, 3, 6, 10 on the right. Take the 3 on the right and the 8 pin. 5 WCBC Pro titles, 5 Massachusetts state titles, 11 New Hampshire state titles.
Need to update that in the computer at 6. Dick, he won back in October. So he now has 6 WCBC titles.
And 8 box. On lane 33, right on the head pin. There's an ugly lead right there.
Runner-up today receives $200 in cash and our best wishes. The winner gets the fine task of taking on Gary Carrington next week. Probably the hottest bowler, he and Jeff Surratt, in the last couple of years here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
And our best wishes are priceless, I might add.
That's right, just like the MasterCard commercials.
The 9 and the 10 still stand, and there they go, a 10 box. Paul Bourassa is working on 2 marks in a row. We'll get to your cards and letters and emails. We'd love to hear from you. Our email address, bowling@wnds.com. Oh, look at that. How did that happen?
When he
right
let
on the
go,
head pin.
Great release, had good stuff on the ball, but he just punched right on through and picked up just a couple on his spare.
3 in the mark. Looked like the ball hit the pin and just bounced off the pin. And that will be an 8 box.
So through completed frames, Paul Bourassa is down by 10 pins after 5, 62 to 52. There's the reverse of what Mark Gregory had just a moment ago. Spread eagle, but sleeper pin was the 8 instead of the 9.
And he takes all but the 3 and the 6. Now it'll be a 10 box. A 10-pin advantage for Mark Gregory after 6 frames of our first string. It's a 3-string match. Total pins, the winner advancing to take on number 3 seed Gary Babe Carrington next week. Bill Treefle's the number 2 seed, and Craig Holbrook The lefty is number 1. That was off the head pin.
I really need to update my files on Mark Gregory. I thought I did. It says last time he was on our show, well, this is his first appearance since 1997. That's not true. He's been on a number of times since then.
Have to get you a secretary.
You know, that would be fine. I think WNDS would spring for that.
We'll put it in the budget for next year.
I won't hold my breath.
That will be $7. I was handed some rating information for the past month for television in the area, and Candlepin Stars and Strikes continues to generate great ratings week after week. And we certainly do appreciate the fact that you are out there week after week watching this program, and the bowlers appreciate it, and everybody involved with the game of Candlepin bowling is very appreciative of your support and loyalty to the game. A mark for Mark Gregory in the 8th frame, his 3rd spare of the string. Paul Bourassa has 2 marks. Missed the head pin there, half Worcester right side.
So that's 3 first balls in a row that have not been kind to Paul Bourassa.
And he almost converted it. The 5 and the 10 still stand with a piece of wood rolling away. He'd like it to stay closer to that 5 pin, but it angles straight. He'll have to play it and see what happens. And that's what happens. It goes right through. It's an 8 box.
Boy, if he's an inch either way, he's got a chance to make it, but he hit it dead on, and it went right through the opening.
Just grazed the head pin there, a little thin, and the 5 pin moved off spot in the background.
And he's finally got a makeable spare.
And he missed it. Everybody thought he had it. It just would not go.
We'll go a little further behind now that Mark Gregory is working on a spare in the 8th frame, and that was Paul Bourassa's best chance at a spare in the last 4 boxes.
Waiting for the wood to settle and come off the lane, and that will be a 10 box. So Mark Gregory has a 9-pin lead plus whatever he gets on this ball to fill his spare. On lane 34, Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV, presented by Tri-State Megabucks and the games of the New Hampshire Lottery Commission. And by the Thompson family of dealerships, McMulkin Chevrolet, Nashua Mitsubishi, Nashua Hyundai, and Nashua Cadillac, all in Nashua, New Hampshire. With 7 in the mark. Missed the spare. And that will be a 9 box. 105 through 9 for Mark Gregory.
His world team in Canada came in 2nd place last year, and what a team he had. Mike Poulin, Steve Plant, John Thomas, Jason Doucette, Charlie Willie, Gary Santora, and of course Mark Gregory. Close but no cigar last year. As you watch the show, the bowlers will have completed their trip to Canada, but we can't give you the results. Actually, they're going to Maine this year. The Bangor Brewer bowling establishment of Charlie Milan's family is where they will have bowled by the time you see this.
Spare in the 10th, 4th mark of the string, 115 plus a ball for Mark Gregory.
And he'll be a bit under his average of 134.
A 134 average. Hard to imagine.
It is remarkable.
Right on the head pin, right through, put 3 in the mark, and a 118 first string for Mark Gregory.
It'll be a rough start for both our bowlers. Looks like Paul Bourassa, if he didn't get a couple marks, will be under his average of 121.
Paul's right on the head pin there, a little on the Brooklyn side, and a tough leave for him. The 5, 9, and 10 with no wood to help out.
This is one of those bank it off the sidewall shots.
He will be open in the 8th. He will need a mark in the 9th, in the 10th. He's open in the 9th, rather. He'll need a mark in the 10th to break 100.
Come on, Paul, go 11.
He's at 89 through 9.
Needs a mark for 100.
And he's got a tough shot here.
Well, the only good news for him is that he's only going to be about 20 pins behind Mark Gregory, who was way under his average also.
Missed the spare, so he's under 100 in the first string. It will be a 9-box and a 98 first string, and a 20-pin lead for Mark Gregory over Paul Bourassa after 1. As we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire for string number 2, you are watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Paul Bourassa will be first to bowl. String number 2 from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Dick Lutz with Mike Morin. We are just so pleased that you are able to join us for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Our director today is Kevin LaFond. Our engineer, Keith Webb. Our camera crew, Craig Amabello, Larry Habert, and Tanya Pear. On replay is Patrick McDougall. On audio, Eric Angra. And our graphics being handled by Steve Kenny. All making it possible for you to watch the finest bowlers in the world on Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV.
Here's a guy that can't win today. When he hits the head pin, he punches through and leaves spread eagles and other crazy leaves. And then when he goes either way, he doesn't get much action. And a tough start for Paul Bourassa, who nearly gets a backdoor spare on the shot, but the 1 pin remains. That'll bring a smile to Paul's face.
He's got a little backdoor action on his ball. He's got a little reverse spin as the ball leaves his hand. It rotates from left to right. I can recall over the years watching the old Channel 5 show, there were several of the great Candlepin bowlers who used to appear on that show that used to have that reverse backup action on the ball. Dick Chafee from Western Massachusetts is one that comes to mind as one who had a little reverse on his ball. He was a terrific bowler. And it really isn't a natural hand action. Almost goes counter to the way the hand like a baseball screwball. It's just kind of like a baseball pitcher throwing a screwball instead of a curveball. Eight box to start from Mark Gregory.
One of the great steady professional bowlers in this game with 6 tour titles. As we mentioned, his most recent one coming in October right here at Leda Lanes. So he likes Leda Lanes.
He crossed over to the Brooklyn side in the first strike of the match for Mark Gregory.
Thank you.
Just crossed over to the Brooklyn side at the last minute, and that was enough to mix him up. As you watch it again. Now Paul Bourassa still trying to find the range. There they go. They continue to fall.
Paul. Look at that,
Paul bent over to pick up his next ball, and while he was doing it, pins were still falling. He looked up and saw a whole different set of pins. Here's the shot for the spare, and he got it. He was very fortunate. The head pin hit high off the wall to the right and just caught the top of the 10 pin to make the spare.
He never used the wood that was leaning against it.
Another pretty one. Come on.
4-pin fill in the spare.
He needs to put a couple together because Mark Gregory is working on a strike with already a 20-pin lead going into this game.
And that'll be a 10 box. Mark Gregory works on a strike. 2 more in a row would be worth $700. The triple strike jackpot. Hasn't been hit in a while.
Not this season at all, as a matter of fact.
No, he's not going to hit it there. Missed the head pin. Went into the second pocket to the left.
Well, you know, after this ladder, Dick, we're just weeks away from the start of our mixed doubles series.
Always look forward to that. Good spare. Hit the outside of the head pin that time and got great action on it.
$50 shot right here if he can get a mark.
Good shot. There's the mark. There's $50. 3 marks in a row as we go to the break. Mark Gregory builds on his lead as we return to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV.
What's you?
Mark Gregory ready to bowl on lane 34 at Leda Lanes. He faces an uphill climb now as Mark Gregory has put 3 marks together. Paul needs to put some marks together on his own.
Well, he finally got a decent hit, and not much to show for it. The 4, 5, and 7, a little wood between the 4 and
Look at this shot. Oh, he almost made it. I thought with the wood between the 4 and the 7, he had a shot at it, and he almost made it. And that'll be a 10 box.
There you go. Right back to one, yeah.
Here's the strike. So Paul rises to the occasion. Almost makes a spare in the 5th frame with a tough split. And throws a good first ball for a strike in the 6th frame to get back on track. Now here's Mark Gregory. 2 strikes in the last 3 boxes, 3 marks in a row. $50 in bonus money, looking to add on to that. There's 2 in a row. That's 3 strikes in the last 4 boxes. That's $25 right there for 4 marks in a row. But here's the big one right now. This is a $700 shot for Mark Gregory. $700 in the triple strike jackpot. You watch and keep your fingers crossed. $700, the triple strike jackpot for Mark Gregory. And the next one's worth another $500.
That's right.
I don't know, but I'll take it.
Break the bank today. What do you say, Dick?
Like 7.
Paul Bourassa working on a strike himself. Needs to try to stay in the match, keep his head in the match.
An 8-box, a strike, a spare, and 3 in a row for Mark Gregory. Got the crowd buzzing.
And Paul missed the spare.
I've got 10.
And you'll have to settle for a 10 box. And 10s are going to be tough to match up against 5 marks in a row, including 4 strikes in 5 boxes, 3 of them in a row.
Yeah, Paul Bourassa finally showing some signs of life, and he's just getting crushed by the relentless attack from Mark Gregory. Look at this.
Almost spun it around. So Mark Gregory has $700 in the triple strike jackpot. Add another $25 for the 5th mark in a row. And this is another $500 shot right here.
Plus they get the bonus money as well.
I put that in there. The crowd quiets. Nope. Half Worcester right side. That brings the streak to the end.
That's what you call a screeching halt. Oh, man. The half Worcester after a 3-bagger. Well, the more bonus money if you can pick the spare up.
He threw a good ball, but...
That's all right, Mark.
Well, he was, Dick, on a roll for a possible 200 game, but now he'll have to put a couple more strikes together for that to happen. In fact, he'll have to have a 3-bagger again.
And an 8-box. 124 through 7. He had a 118 in the first string. What a crazy game this is. Here he is back on track with a great pocket shot, and a very solid 5-pin still stands. Never moved an inch. Nothing came near the 5-pin. And another mark.
Who's got all the ball in the middle there?
6 marks in the string for Mark Gregory. Paul Bourassa looks to try to mark out and maintain some semblance of order, and that's a good spare.
This is reminiscent of the match you and I had at Pilgrim Lanes earlier this year when you threw a 140 at me.
There's a good first ball by Paul, and another opportunity for a mark. And wood surrounding the 10-pin. I think that piece of wood behind is problematic.
Could be.
Now.
Just got to shove it back and hope for the best.
Right between everything. He missed it. Right through an opening.
Whoops.
That
Come on, grab a stick.
just doesn't look like it fit the ball through that opening, does it? There's the 10 bucks he needed so desperately to have a spare there. Finishes with a 119 in the second string.
His high single, by the way, is 192 for Mark Gregory. He had a pretty good shot at breaking that. If it had been for that half Worcester back in the 7th frame, Dick, if he'd have popped a mark in there, he'd be well on his way to a possible 190-plus game.
Puts 9 in the mark. 5-pin still stands. Second solid 5-pin he's left standing. Another mark. He looks for some more bonus money. This is one hell of a string for Mark Gregory.
Look at the determination on his face.
Watch it, there they go. Another $50 in bonus money. 3 marks in a row.
Dick, if he strikes out, gets 2 more, he will, of course, win $500 and will have his all-time high single.
193.
He'd have a 193. That's correct. Tall order, but it can be done.
What's the highest string we've had on our show since we've been doing it?
Somewhere in the 180s. I don't have the exact number.
Well, he will not have 193.
And as I understand it, there's never been even a 200 string bowled.
He's at 180 right
years.
now. 183. Give him another $25 in bonus money. A 183 second string from Mark Gregory. An 84-pin lead in the match. We head to string number 3 from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. You are watching Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNBS TV. Mark. All set to go. 3rd string coming up from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire. Mark Gregory has electrified the crowd with a 183 second string. 3 strikes in a row. 7 marks in the string. 8 marks in the string. 9 marks, actually, if you count the spare to fill the strike in the last box. And he starts off with a hit like that. $875 in bonus money, including the $700 triple strike jackpot that he hit.
You want to hear some big scores, Dick?
Quite an eventful string.
A couple of weeks ago, the WCBC Pro Tour was held at the Bowling Center in Saco as Mark picks up a very difficult spare. Gary Carrington was the winner, and he set a house record.
Watch this again. Watch this spare coming up. That's the lead he had, and that's the spare he made to start off the 3rd string. Go ahead, Mike.
Dick, Gary Carrington winning and defeating, of course, all the other bowlers and setting a house record. He had 1430. Now, that's a 143 average for 10 games. These are the games that he had. 140, 177, 134, 178, 117, 154, 126, 127, 134, and 143 for a 1430 total, defeating Sean Baker by nearly 100 pins. And we'll see Gary Carrington next week.
Just remarkable scoring. That's going to be an 8 box for the seemingly infallible Mark Gregory, who has an open frame.
And a real good shot at 400. Not much hope for Paul Bourassa unless he bowls the string of his life. And his best is 186. And that won't help the cause.
Dick Mathis from Holbrook, Massachusetts sent us a note, Mike, and he wants to know, we have a half Worcester on the left, and we have a half Worcester on the right. Why, when a bowler punches out the 1-5, leaving 8 pins standing, don't we call it a half worcester in the middle?
I guess that would make sense. I mean, you could.
But we don't.
We don't, no. We only go for the 2 pins either way. Well, I'm sure by reading that, it'll generate, you know, lots of response from people who may have some kind of an answer to that.
We know what the spread eagle is, of course, when you leave 3 on the left and 3 on the right. Is there a name for the leave that punches out the 1 and 5 and leaving 8 pins standing?
Yeah, there is, but we can't say it on television.
The bowlers have it.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure they do.
That would be called a language malfunction.
Dick Mathis from Holbrook, Massachusetts, thank you for your note. And I'm terribly sorry that Mike Moran was not able to answer your question.
The seemingly infallible Mike Moran?
The man who knows all about Candlepin bowling.
Not as much as a lot of our lifelong fans who, I've only lived here 20 years, so I've absorbed some of their knowledge and some of their historical references, but a lot of people know a heck of a lot more than I do. I'll be the first to admit that.
We'd love to hear from you, too. You can send in your notes, your questions, your thoughts, your witticisms to Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Yeah, put your witticisms in care of Dick Lutz. He could use a couple of those.
WNBS TV 50 Television Place, Derry, New Hampshire, 03038. There's Mark after an open frame. Right back to his old tricks, another spare.
He's probably had more marks than he has had opens today, which is not usually the case.
We had 4 marks in the first string, which is 6 open frames. And he had 8 marks in the second string. So, and now two more, and there's a strike. This young man is on fire.
He just shook his head like, I can't believe I'm doing this. That was quite a shot, the 6 and 10 going down, as you see right there from the scout pin on the other side. Last 2 pins down, 6-10. And a not-so-fun spare leave now for Paul Bourassa of Merrimack, New Hampshire.
It won't go. It's been that kind of a match. I want to say hello to a couple of our favorites, Mike, who are not with us today. Irene, our regular, who hasn't been with us for several months. We did get word from her that she's watching faithfully and misses being here, and we miss having you here with us, Irene. And Sonny's not here today. Sonny is under the weather, and we hope to have him back with us next month for next month's
I know I miss Sonny. I'm not sure if you do. He likes to yank your chain a little bit.
He likes you better than he likes me. Sonny, we miss you. Hope you get back soon.
Sonny, I really miss you.
We're going to go to the break. A big lead for Mark Gregory over Paul Bourassa as we come back to Leda Lanes in Nashua for Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. There you get a look at some of the crowd gathered here at Leda Lanes for Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Hope you can make it to our next taping session.
December the 7th, Dick. Tuesday, December 7th. A day that will live in infamy.
There he is again. Almost another strike. Certainly set up for another mark. If that piece of wood gets out of the way, he'd like that to roll off the lane, but it won't. But he still has a pretty good angle to come at it.
He'll find a way to make it. Everything is going his way today. He's throwing a terrific ball, getting some great breaks.
Another $50 shot coming up here. He's breaking the bank with bonus money and the triple strike jackpot, which he hit earlier. Played the wood, played the front wood, and makes the spare. That's another $50 in bonus money. So he's racking up the cash and building an insurmountable lead over the shell-shocked Paul Bourassa. Another pocket shot.
I think Paul would be the first to admit that he's probably not bowling well enough to win anyway today, but he's just getting creamed.
You're going to lose. You might as well lose by 100, I suppose.
There you go.
And another mark. And another $25 in bonus money. We're going to need an abacus here to figure out the bonus money that we're going to hand out to Mark Gregory at the end of the match. That's 5 marks and 6 frames in the third string. Here's Paul with a strike. And and a big smile on his face.
Go triple your own here. Come on. Let's
Getting
go.
a little extra love from the audience there. Who
They'd
feels
like to see
bad
him
for
win some money now.
Of
They'd like
course.
to see him cash in some bonus money.
Double.
Well, he threw it at the head
Come on, go
pin.
make it.
Pretty good shot. He was a little high on the Brooklyn side. He's got 4 standing on the right side. No wood to help or hinder him.
Do it.
And another mark. Good for him. 2 marks in a row. For Paul Bourassa. And a chance at some bonus money when he comes to the line again.
With 6 pins, Mark Gregory will have 400 already with another 4 boxes to go. Phenomenal.
5 marks and 6 frames. Looking for more. With a 5 pin.
He's putting up Gary Carrington-esque numbers today. And oh, by the way, did I mention Gary Carrington is here next week?
Piece of wood is right out in front, perpendicular, tough shot. Oh, he got it anyway. He got it anyway.
You see him pointing to his head
Yeah,
like,
he
I knew what I was doing.
Sure, he played it that way.
He's having a good time today. There's another shot of it. Off the wall, and then straight back.
There it comes. Right in the pocket.
Now a 138-pin lead over Paul Bourassa, who yet is a couple frames behind. So that's probably realistically about 115 pins.
He's going to miss this spare. The streak comes to an end.
Rough crowd. They're booing him.
He will be open in the 8th frame. He's at 129 through 8.
Have you figured out the bonus money yet?
Yeah, I've got it right here. I can add it up real quickly. 100, 150, 200, 250, 275 plus the 700. So 975 total.
Well,
Unofficially. Paul looking for bonus money, couldn't come up with it.
Come on, grab 10.
And a 10 box. So no bonus money that time for
Good
Paul.
work on you. Come on.
Still one more opportunity.
Mark Gregory has 430 already.
Push. Come on, go get it.
Now, a couple of ways to go with this one. Wood on the left, wood on the right. There's the spare for Paul Bourassa. Mark Gregory looking for more bonus money, looking to cruise into next week's match against Gary Carrington.
And nothing but big names along the way. Gary Carrington, as you mentioned, Bill Treifel 2 weeks from today, and Craig Holbrook at the top of the ladder with 11 WCBC titles, now second in men behind Peter Flynn and Tommy Olsta, I believe. I'll double check my book on that.
Piece of wood is there to help Mark with this shot. And he missed it. It didn't take the 5 pin.
Actually, Peter Flynn has 10 titles, so now with 11, Craig Holbrook is all alone in second place in most men's tour victories with the WCBC.
$139.
Well,
He's
this
at 440.
This will
with a
not
box
be,
to go.
sorry, Dick, this will not be the highest triple we've had. I think 460 something. So, I mean, he could throw a double strike and eclipse that.
The 5, 7, 9, 10. Piece of wood between the 9 and the 10. See if he can send the pins flying here. Played the wood. Nope, not going to make it. He's open, so he's at 147. Oh, way to finish. With the 5-7 conversion for a 10 box, so 149, a 3-string total of 450 for Mark Gregory. plus the $50 for having the high string in the match.
So that'll put him over $1,000.
And there's a strike
Come on, Paulie.
for Paul Bourassa.
Strike out. Come on.
Now he's looking for some bonus money. There's a strike.
Come on,
And
one
he's
more
looking
time.
for some bonus money. We've got $500 in the triple strike jackpot for Paul Bourassa. Wouldn't that be something?
One more time.
Well, we've
baby.
never had it happen twice in one show that I can recall.
$500 in the triple strike jackpot. Paul Bourassa.
Do it!
Can he hit it? He threw a good ball. Oh, look at this.
Give it an effort, will you? Come on, nail the face.
This is a $25 shot right here for Paul, if he can convert this. And he does. So good for him. He finishes with a 150 third string, actually beating Mark Gregory in the third string by a pin. Gregory wins the match by 83 pins. Final score 450 for Mark Gregory, 367 for Paul Bourassa. We'll come back to meet our bowlers right after this when we continue from Leda Lanes with Candlepin Stars and Strikes on WNDS TV. Final score of the match was Mark Gregory 450, Paul Bourassa 367. Paul joins us and he'll accept the consolation prize of $200. We have $75 in bonus money for you. And I guess the question that I have to ask is, what's it like sitting there watching your opponent rack up as many marks as Mark put together?
I don't know what to say. He was on a roll, and there's nothing I could do about it.
It's a very helpless kind of a feeling, isn't it, when you're watching somebody get as hot as he is, and you're just sitting there and he's putting mark after mark after mark on the board.
Yeah, well, it certainly stopped me from being nervous after that point.
But at the very end, you had a great third string. You came back with a strong 150, and you had the shot at the triple strike at the very end, 2 strikes in a row. You threw a great ball, and it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, I thought I had that one, but it was a little tight on the head pin. Didn't go, but I got some extra money out of it, so that's okay.
Another $75 in bonus money.
Hope the check's clear, that's all.
Yeah. Does this bounce?
You were the WCBC Rookie of the Year in 2002, so clearly you can compete on this level. It seems that you got into the professional ranks a little bit later in life. You were 38 at the time. Do you plan to continue to be very active in the WCBC?
Yeah. And now that I've done it, I'm just going to keep going with it, and I'm probably at the best of my game in my life right now, although it didn't show today. But
well, it did for 5 boxes.
Yeah. Last 6 boxes was great.
Well, you got a taste of the television light, so I know you'll be back, right?
Yeah, I'm certainly going to try.
Paul, thanks very much. Congratulations to you. We look forward to seeing you again.
Good to
Paul
see you,
Bourassa,
Paul.
our runner-up here at Leda Lanes, and now the bonus ball contest. Mike will reach into the bin and pull out a card from a viewer, and we'll see if we can give away $10. This is Mary Bartone, a frequent viewer who watches from Canton, Massachusetts, and Mary picks 7. She wants you to get a 7 for $10 for Mary, and if we don't get a 7, we'll have a consolation prize from N&R Trophies in Winchendon, Massachusetts.
Is he capable of getting anything less than a 9?
We'll find out.
Apparently not.
$9. Consolation prize from N&R Trophies, Winchendon, Massachusetts, for Mary Bartone. And Mark, congratulations to you. Seems like you found a groove there.
I did. After the first swing, I felt a little more comfortable. Ball started working that second swing, especially. I don't know, 3 strikes in a row. I've never done that on TV before, so that's the highest triple I've ever thrown on TV.
How about the nerves when you got the 2 strikes and you know you're going for $700? I don't know if you knew what the total was, but it was $700. You thinking about it at all?
No, I just trying to throw a good ball. You know, if it happens, it happens. Just to try to stay on a roll.
Just to let you know what you earned that match, $700 for the triple strike jackpot, $50 for having the high string in the match, and $275 in bonus money, a grand total of $1,025, and you get to come back next week.
Oh, not bad for an hour's work. And I get one of the best around next match. Gary's been bowling very well, and it's going to be tough.
Yeah, but you're a seasoned pro. I mean, you just won your 6th WCBC Tour win here at Leda Lanes not too long ago. You like this house.
I do. I bowled well last month. I won the tour here. I came in 2nd last Easter. And we lost by a few pins, so yeah, I feel very comfortable here.
And again, as a longtime bowler, one of the people who are here in the audience today said, did you know he was on the kids bowling show years ago? So even as a teenager, you were already under the lights, correct?
Oh, long time ago. I was first on TV when I was 10 years old. And I made in a 3-year period, I made 12 appearances. So it's been a long time, coming up through the ranks as a kid, and then you know, as an adult, it's, you know, it gets harder when you get to be an adult, because, you know, there's a lot of good bowlers out here. So I just do the best I can.
Mark, anything left in the tank for next week? I'm sorry.
I hope so, because it's going to be another good match.
Congratulations to you. Great bowling. We'll look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week.
Mark Gregory, a 450 triple, high single, triple strike jackpot, broke the bank over $1,000 in total bonus money.
And you know who also broke the bank a couple years ago, winning $3,000 in one day, was Gary Carrington. And we'll see these two guys both try to break the bank next week.
We'll look forward to seeing you as well. For Mike Morin and our entire crew from Leda Lanes in Nashua, New Hampshire, I'm Dick Lutz. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Remember, get your gang together and let's go bowling. So long, everybody.